Heather.
And today,
Are you going to say it without butchering it?
I thought you
Oh,
were
am I
going
supposed to say it?
See,
Oh,
we can't get the intro right ever. Today we have Shawn Olorundami with us. Did I say it right?
you said it right. Yes.
Yay! Okay, tell us about what district you're in and kind of the area that you're running in and all of the things.
hmm So I'm in Iowa State House District 1. We're number one. This is a seat that is fairly urban for Iowa anyway. It's in Sioux City. And so if you're familiar with the city at all, it covers parts of downtown as well as the west side of town, bits of the north side of town. It has two high schools, two 4A high schools in it. Well, one of them's actually in the district. The other one some is a feeder for parts of the district, but it's not technically in the district. I'm a teacher at one of those schools, and this seat is J.D. Scholten's seat. If you are familiar with that name, he has represented us well for the past several years and was running for Senate, suspended his campaign, I think over the summer maybe, and he is retiring. And so here I am.
All right. What inspired you to run?
Um, I lately have gotten a lot more into politics. This is not something I thought I would have done even a few years ago. But I started getting involved with the local party. I was on the communications team, just seeing what's been happening not only in Iowa but across the US. I mean, it's hard to not feel disheartened and hopeless and discouraged. And so I'm the kind of person when I'm feeling those big emotions, as we tell our kids, you have to put it somewhere. You got to do something with it. And so I had been doing a lot of local stuff, and people had been encouraging me, including JD, even to run. And so I talked with my wife about it because we do have four kids, so it is a lot. And I had actually first put my hat in for the Senate District 1 seat over the summer, which Caitlin Dre would go on to win. And so I worked, with her and for her campaign, sort of door knocking and doing all of that. And then everyone afterward was like, "Yeah, I mean, you gotta run again. You gotta do something." And so I've just felt like I got to do something. So here I am.
I love that answer. I think with everything that's going on and how kind of just awful things have gone lately, that it's really exciting for me to see other people who are just like, you know what? Everything has been kind of terrible, and I know that I can't just sit home and cry about it, in my room with the lights off. I have to get out of the house
I mean,
and
I can, but
I mean, I can, but that's not effective in making
no,
change.
it's not my best
So
use of time.
it's
No.
not my best use of time, or maybe best for my mental health. Although I wouldn't argue that running for office or getting involved in politics at all
It's
is
also
super
not
great for
great for mental.
anybody's
Yeah.
mental health.
No,
But I
no.
like that answer because I think it's very real and very representative of the time that we live in right now. So,
And you see a lot of people, around my age, people who are not political people getting involved at, all levels.
yeah.
And I think people have always thought that, there's some class of people or the people over there, there's some adults in the room who are supposed to handle this.
Yeah.
But then they screwed it up so bad that you're like, well, if that idiot
Yeah.
can run, I can run,
Exactly. That's
So,
something that we've really focused on heavily with Insufferable Wenches is trying to not necessarily explain, but like give people the confidence to know that you are absolutely qualified to run
yeah.
for office.
hmm
If you want better for your community and you are inspired to do so, that is all you need. You do not have to be in a specific tax bracket. You do not, I mean, depending on how you can financially handle the position,
Well, yeah, you might need to
obviously.
be.
So maybe a tax bracket is a bit of a problem there, but you don't have to spend, every waking day in politics to decide that you want to
hmm
do better for your community. And it's a really cool thing to start seeing more normal people that
Hmm.
just want better for their for their direct communities and
Yeah.
for our state to kind of jump in and be like, you know what, things are not okay, and I would like
No,
to do my part to fix it. So here we go. So that's been pretty cool. Do you have a primary opponent?
I do. Yes.
Okay, okay. How many primaries are you? Is it like just
We
two?
So yeah, it's just me and another guy,
Okay,
Kenny Kroll, who is also very involved with the party at the local level. We get along very well.
amazing.
There's probably not much daylight between us, if any, policy
Nope.
wise. And so
Yeah.
I've got nothing but good things to say about him.
That's awesome. I know there's quite a few primaries going on for state house, like kind of this session, I don't know, this campaign year. Clearly we're very
Mhm.
professional with the terminology. Um, but there's quite a few primaries going on, which I think is really cool. I wish we saw more seats filled rather than like primaries, but we are pro healthy primary. We
Yeah,
love to see a good primary.
absolutely.
It
Hmm.
brings attention to the races, and we think that that's great. And also, it
Increases
just tends to
turnout.
make you work a little harder.
Hmm.
Layla?
It increases turnout
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
every
Yep.
time.
every time. So we're excited about that. Some of those primaries are super friendly, and some of them are not.
Which surprises me, but I guess the politics is different in different places. So
I think
here
so.
here it's all the people who are most involved in running are all already know each other around here anyway, and we're
Mhm.
already working together and helping each other's campaigns. So it's kind of just like the
That's
more the merrier.
amazing. I love that. I love that it's competitive, but also like the end goal is the same, right? Like
Yeah. Hmm.
you both just want better, not better representation than you have necessarily, because obviously your representative is a great one.
Hmm.
You're very lucky to have somebody that's been fighting for you down there, right?
Hmm.
We are not in the same
We are
situation when it comes to
not.
that. But to make sure that you can hold on to that seat to continue having someone to
Yes.
fight for you in Des
Yep.
Moines is great. So being that you're in a very friendly primary, what do you think makes you different from other Democratic candidates or from your primary opponent?
Um, Policy wise, I don't know that there's anything.
Yeah.
I am from the district I'm representing. I was born and raised here, so I know it very well. I know the people here very well. I know sort of the vibe of the district well, and I think that might be one differentiating factor. There is only one Republican running, I'm pretty sure, so he doesn't have a primary opponent, and
Right.
that guy is not from here. He's from a
Shocking.
small town, moved here and would like to legislate those small town values onto us here, which uh, people don't appreciate, and I understand that being from here, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I would say coming from two people that are from small towns.
Hmm.
Which I'm not from a small town, I should say. I grew up in Waterloo, which is not a small town. It's not as, I don't think it's as big as Sioux City, but it's not tiny by any means. Um, and moved to a small town like my freshman year of high school. And I still turned out as raging. I don't know what to call it. We always have the discussion of labels and how we kind of hate them because none of them quite fit, right? Like I am not quite
Yeah.
a liberal, but not quite a leftist, but also not quite a Democrat, even though I am a Democrat, kind of like, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, small town values is a crock, and I hate it. I hate that term so
Yeah.
much because it's
Hmm.
it's such a lie. So Layla and I get a lot of our news online. We do not watch legacy news because why? Um, so we always ask if you have like a favorite podcast that you listen to or like a favorite social media political pundit type person. We know
Oh.
everybody loves NPR, everybody
Hmm.
loves IPR, and sometimes people dive into like the legacy media, like the CNN and the MSNBC. What's kind of your go-to source that's not like super mainstream and well known?
For like political news,
Yeah.
um, for just like, what do the numbers look like? I like to watch there's a YouTuber named Ethan Kelly, and he's got a
Okay.
show called Elect. What is it called? I don't know. Look up Ethan Kelly. It's election something.
That's great. I haven't heard of
Great
that one.
show.
So
Yeah, look up Ethan Kelly. He's got at least a few videos a week that I watch. In fact, my kids will come in and be like, "You're watching that guy again?" Yeah, yeah, I am watching that guy again because I want to know what's freaking happening out there. I watch Josh Doss on he's on Instagram, he's on Threads, he's on TikTok, I'm sure. But I
I
like
haven't
him a
heard of that
lot.
one either. You're giving me all kinds of
Oh yeah, the deep cuts here.
new ones to look up.
Oh,
I like
who
it.
else do I like? Yeah, politics guy. I like politics girl. Um,
We love Politics Girl. We
yeah.
met her.
Dallas.
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
we did. We got so
She,
lucky.
so sometimes I will watch CNN just because I'll see a clip of her like on
Yeah.
Threads or something, and I'm
And
like,
she's
Yeah,
oh, I gotta
grilling
watch this
all
whole
of them.
thing.
She does such a good job.
Yeah, she
like
does
she
on when
does.
she's on Abby Phillips' show. I love that. So
We were in
otherwise, I don't think I could watch that show.
no, we got to go to DC last, what do we figure? It's May. Yeah, last May. And to this big like um kind of summit thing for Indivisible.
hmm
And we met her. She was so nice. And Layla got to meet Aaron Parnas and
Oh yeah.
Maxwell Frost, I think.
hmm
And I forget some of the other ones. There were a lot of people there. But yeah, we got to meet her. And that was like, at that point, I was very like, I was like a huge follower, which I still am. But everything was so very new to us that like
hmm
it was so exciting to meet her. And we got a picture with her and cheesed out. And it was
Oh,
very
cool.
cool. But yeah, she's like the
Yeah, I love how
nicest
she can
person.
just she makes things that it's like very nebulous in your head, and you're like, I know there's a problem with this, but I don't know how to articulate it. And she's like, let me tell you how to articulate this
She's like, I
very
got you.
plainly. And you're like, yes, that's it
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. She's great.
hmm
Okay, so hard questions. Not really. Do you plan to take corporate PAC money? We know that that's uncommon on a house level, right? We're asking this on purpose because we know that some people running for house are going to run for other things someday, which is great. And we want to see everybody do that if they
hmm
want to do that. But we think corporate PAC money is a big conversation that needs to happen, and money in politics is a big conversation that needs to repeatedly happen
hmm
until it is fixed. So will you be taking corporate PAC money or will you vow not to while you're in office?
No, I will not be taking any. I
Love
mean,
that.
the people outside my window here who I can see walking by, those are the people I'm going to be working for. So I don't need corporations to give me money to know what those people's opinion is. So
Love that. And
no.
to for clarification, I know some people kind of get after us because we just say corporate PAC money and they're like, "Well, but I will take money from like, advocacy PACs." Yeah, advocacy
Oh
PAC,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
the same thing.
hmm
We know that's not
No,
the same thing.
no.
If you are advocacies work for people, corporations work for themselves. So
hmm
we feel like, it's pretty cut and dry. So great answer. The next question is Layla's because it's difficult and I screw it up every time. So
Oh shoot.
It's not that hard. But if you were to look at the legislature as if you're picking majors in college, what would you major in the legislature? What would you minor in the legislature?
Oh, um, as in like what am I going to focus on or what am I interested in or like as far as committees or how do you mean?
You can answer it in any way you
Or I get to choose my own adventure here.
choose your own
choose your own
adventure.
adventure.
Okay. Um, I like communications. So I would say communications, but not so much like communications. I like using, if you've seen like any of my videos or anything, like I love trying to use art to get a message across. And so I'm like, I love like reading books and watching videos on like composition and how composition creates meaning and how you can use graphic design to tell a story. And so and I wish I would have like majored in that now actually in college. And so I think I would want to do communications just for that aspect and looking at like how music and lighting and all of that creates, a desired effect. So I think I would like that. But I
That's
also really like oh sorry, go ahead.
no, that's so cool. Like, can you imagine how unbelievably interested people would be in our government if they branded things in a way that was interesting?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I love that answer. Great, keep going.
IDP, new chair.
Yeah.
I
And
like it.
I just came from, I'm on an active transportation committee for the city of Sioux City, which is the city I live in. And I, like the last, I want to say 10 years, have gotten really into like city planning and design. So maybe like I would minor in, I don't know if it's civil engineering or city planning or whatever. I'm super into like, how do you make cities work for people and a place that people want to be and can enjoy and can like live life, you know?
Love
So,
that.
yeah.
Layla, would that fall under like the infrastructure stuff? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be the category, right?
There's this
You
Instagram
gotta
account.
dumb it down for me sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's infrastructure. There's this Instagram account called like City Walk or Walk City or something.
Yes, yep.
And they
Hmm.
like redesign the cities and I'm obsessed. I
Yep,
watch all of
yes.
them.
Absolutely. And I like how sometimes they'll even do Disney World and they'll make it like terrible because they're like, this is what it would look like if you built it around cars, which is what every
Yes.
American city does, and you realize how crappy it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
I love
so
that.
bad. I like that they calculate how much of each city is like dedicated to parking. They
Yeah, and
Des
it's
Moines.
astronomical. And you don't realize how much it ruins your city until you get like a bird's eye view or you really think about it. And then, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Another account that I follow, going back, even though this isn't like a political account, but it is because everything really is politics, is this account, Not Just Bikes, which is all about like walkable cities. And it's this
Ooh,
guy who grew up like in Canada, and which is has very similar cities to the United States, and then moves to Europe and talks about how the quality of your city, the quality of your life really is so impacted on so much impacted by the infrastructure of your city and what the design is. And so it's not politics, but it is politics because everything is politics.
agreed. I'm writing all of these down, by the way.
Not just bikes.
Not just
And there's
bikes.
another one called City Beautiful, which is similar. Like I'm just
I'm gonna need you to email me a list.
This is like the people version of the meme of putting Tylenol in water. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if you're familiar with the meme where it was like, if we want to solve all of like our transportation problems, we need to put Tylenol in the water so everyone can get autistic, catch autism,
Oh, yeah.
so they can fix
Yeah.
all of the train
Right.
systems.
Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. That's
Um,
great.
what are some ways that you're active in your community?
So like I said, I just came from the active transportation committee. So I'm on that committee, which again looks at how do we make the city walkable? How do we make it not car centric so that people who don't have cars can still fully participate in the city, can get to work, can enjoy life without having the humiliation of walking down a street that was clearly not created for people, you know. I'll get off that soapbox now. But I'm also on my church council. I am a member of the union. I'm on the bargaining team, on the collective bargaining team. So I bargain for salaries for teachers. I up until this campaign, when I had to resign because it was too much, I was on the central committee for Woodbury County Democrats. I was on, or not the executive committee, where I was a co-chair of the communications team. Um, I've coached various things. I used to run a mass comm program at the high school I work at. So
When do you sleep?
yeah,
We have
Right.
four
we
kids.
have 4 kids, so
Yeah,
that
you
that
don't
wasn't in the
sleep.
cards
No
anyway.
more sleep. I also have four kids. However, they are all older. So my youngest is 14. They're old enough to leave me alone for the most part. They
Yeah.
don't miss me when I'm gone, really, unless we run out of food. And then I get phone calls like, we need food. But
Yeah.
other than that, as long as they're fed, they're fine.
So yeah, so those things keep me busy. And I enjoy doing them. They're fun. I want to obviously make this place as good as we can make it. So,
Awesome.
This is probably the most controversial question, so if you need a second, that's fine. Just let us know.
oh
And then
gosh,
we can move
okay.
on. And it's cats or dogs. Why?
Uh, we have a cat and a dog. So, um, oh man, I'm gonna go with cats. I I love our dog, but what's nice about cats is this time of year, you don't have to go into the backyard and clean up 6 months worth of frozen and then thawed feces. And that is the cat, you just when
Empty the box.
my wife never had cats growing up, so she did not believe me when I said this. When we moved, I was like, no, we you just put the cat in a litter box and it'll always know where to go.
Mhm.
And she was like, That's not true." I was like, "That's 100% true. It's 100% true. You put a kitten in a litter box and they're just like, got it, right? You
Right.
cannot do that with dogs. It was so much more difficult with that dog. So I'm gonna go with cats. And they don't like your attention all the time, but when they do, it makes it that much sweeter, So
I'm with
cats.
it. I
Yeah, I
I
agree.
yeah.
We have 3 dogs,
hmm
and that's why we're pro cat.
And that's why we're broke. Yeah.
hmm They're
Okay.
noisy and
Oh
They
yeah,
are. They are.
lottery.
Yeah.
and slobbery. They're adorable, and I love them all very, very much. But just shush, shush.
And cats clean themselves. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yes, they really are like the most loving pet that needs little to no attention
Hmm.
whatsoever. Just clean the litter box every once in a while and give them some pets, and they're happy.
Yeah.
These
And like
dogs won't leave us alone for anything.
if we go out of town, like we can leave the cat, give it enough food for a couple of days, and it knows I need to ration this food. The dog would eat all that food in 5 minutes and be
Yes.
screwed for, like,
And then be
so
starving when you get home
I know.
and jumping all over you.
Somebody needs to go check on the cat like once a day and it's
Yep.
fine. So yeah,
Love
cats.
it.
Okay, what do you care about solving or bringing up in the legislature that isn't about healthcare, water quality, or education?
Okay. No healthcare, no water quality, no education. Correct. Okay.
Correct.
Um, I think workers' rights, I'm like I mentioned on the bargaining team, and I think um, what the legislature did to not just teachers, but all bargaining employees and especially state employees over the last decade has been horrendous. The things we can no longer bargain for. Um, and I th what's very frustrating to me is that if people recognize that we're like, oh, we can't do this because the legislature said we can't. But it's like, well, we're the people, It's like if people recognize their own power, um, like the legislature should be afraid of us. We shouldn't be
Absolutely.
like, oh, we can't do that because the legislature said so. The legislature should be like, oh, we can't do that because the people won't accept that. Like teachers are probably one of the largest, if not the largest voting bloc in the state, by occupation. And it's like if they voted in their best interest, we would never be dealing with this BS right now. That we're seeing with not only school funding. I know I can't talk about education, but bargaining rights. It just wouldn't be happening because they would fear the repercussions come election day, but we don't see that. And so I think workers' rights are something that crosses the aisle, I hope, still. Um, and so that's one thing that I'm passionate about, I think.
Yeah.
And
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 like,
and helping people remember their power in that. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think a lot of, I would argue that a majority of change comes from workers,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
specifically when, where, and if they work. And
Mm-hmm.
I've spent the last several months of trying to like prove to my friends, like the most radical thing you can do right now is join a union. Like,
Yes.
go
Yep.
join a union. Unionize your
Mm-hmm.
workplace. Like informal unions, despite the legislature's opinion, isn't law. Informal unions are still valid. Go do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can do
Yeah.
that. And just getting people to like understand that they can actually do that is so difficult. And why?
Yeah. Because I think we've been conditioned to not recognize the power we have. And here's the thing. Here's maybe the um ironic part about it is that those people, I don't know if it's, special interest group or people with all the money, the people in the PACs who push this anti-union legislation, don't realize that the unions and collective bargaining protect them just as much, if not more, than it does workers. Because here's the deal. Before there were unions, when the people got upset, people got their heads chopped off. So
People burnt
the
down
union,
toilet paper warehouses.
yeah, it's people during brown toilet paper warehouses. CEOs get shot in the street. That's what happens when workers don't feel like they have a voice. And so, we had built into the system all these pressure release valves. So when people got upset enough, there were outlets to sort of off ramp from, revolution that's going to take somebody's life. And then we had these people with all this money and power and influence who like welded these pressure relief valves shut, thinking there would be no consequence. And they do so at their own peril, because when people get fed up enough, when their children are sick and starving, and when they feel like they don't have any options, they get desperate. And desperate people do some crazy things. And you get a lot of desperate people together, that's a recipe for disaster. And so they keep taking away these collective bargaining, these union rights, thinking that they are somehow sticking it to us. And that may be the case in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to be them that suffer the most. Because once enough people get fed up, it's game over, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to make
another,
such a good clip later. I'm just thinking.
it's like it's just unfathomable that I made a video the other day and I was like, well, you can't expect the most amount of work out of people with the least amount of pay and then expect everything to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
And it was about that guy that allegedly burnt down his toilet paper warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yep.
also all of the Amazon warehouses that are getting started on fire and the
Yeah.
AI data centers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just do
Yeah.
whatever
You
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 want and
you,
expect
you
no
can't you can't duct tape people's mouths shut and not expect them to start using their fists on you. So I
Right.
mean, they're going to have to come to terms with that at some point, and hopefully they do it before things get untenable and very violent.
Yeah.
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 We all just went quiet, like, huh? Layla, are we still on you? I've completely lost track of where we are.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you support the private school voucher program?
Oh my God, no. I'm a public school teacher. My wife is a public school teacher. No, no, I do not.
Thank God.
No.
We haven't had anyone hop on and go, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Here's who I do feel bad for a certain set of people. I have got people in this district who are lower income who have taken advantage of this program.
Yeah.
And it's them I do feel bad about. And so I want this program repealed. For those people specifically, though, I think we would need to phase it out for them, because I don't think it's fair to them or their children to say, hey, next year you're getting ripped out of your school. But for people of a certain income, God, no.
Right.
No, I'm not paying when we have public pools for the time we still have them for you to go swim at the country club on my dime. Like, that's not happening. And that's what's
Right.
happening here. And that's not fair. It's not right. It's not acceptable. Pay for your own membership. So that's my stance.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I think it's really difficult to do. Well, I have two things I want to say. One, I've never met someone in my house district that is supportive of the program, and we have a Republican representative and haven't had a Democrat run since 2020, since
Mhm.
the district has existed. We don't even have a private school that students graduate from here.
Nope.
So what? Yeah. So why? That's somebody who's not representing their constituents.
Exactly.
Clearly. And it's
Right.
like, I get you're in a party and you're in a party, whatever. You caucus, whatever. But it's like at some point you got to look these people in the eye and I mean, there is nothing about that would be beneficial to the people in your district, obviously. Not a dang thing. So it's like, why? Why? It wouldn't cost him anything. I'm assuming it's a guy. Is it a guy or a girl?
It's dude.
It's a guy. It wouldn't cost him anything. It's not like he's going to lose votes over that.
Right.
So like, why support that?
He might have actually gained more votes if he didn't do that, because people
Yeah.
are mad, like for obvious reasons. Ugh.
So this like just like rampant partisanism, I don't know what the word is, where you're like you're more devoted to your party than you are to yourself or any principal or to the people who live in your neighborhood is just the weirdest, grossest thing to come about. And I see that, and I think that's why so many people resonate with, Rob Sand's message. I don't agree with him on everything, but the idea that neither one of these parties has done enough to gain anybody's loyalty the way we're seeing, it is like 100% yes.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything that I agree with Rob Sand on, it is that. And I have lots of things that I don't agree with him on. And honestly, anybody who's spent any amount of time on our page at all knows that because we're pretty vocal about things because we think that more people should be more vocal about things.
Yeah,
Even
absolutely.
holding our own side accountable, right? Like we cannot walk around and pretend that the Democratic Party and that Democrats have these like beautiful glowing angel wings and that they never
Hmm.
do anything wrong because you can't work for better unless you recognize what's not doing good, right? Like what's not
Hmm.
going well. So there's lots of stuff where I'm like, all right, Rob Sand, let's have a conversation. I would love to have a conversation with Rob Sand. Will that ever happen? Dude, no. But like
No.
it'd be cool if it did because I would love to hear some of his genuine answers on some of the questions.
Hmm.
However, him talking about how he hates the two-party system, I absolutely despise it
Yeah.
also. Um,
Hmm.
I think it does get a little scary when you start talking about things like jungle primaries. Um,
No, no, I would not support that.
I
No.
don't love
Not unless if
that.
there was a ranked choice vote, then I
Yes.
would be okay with a jungle primary, but without that,
Yeah,
absolutely no.
right. Exactly. So yeah. So I'm interested in seeing like what he'll do with that, right? Like
Hmm.
what he'll do with governorship and the two
Yeah,
parties.
I think he will be 1,000 times better than what we've got right now, and I think
Oh,
he'll
for
be a good
sure.
governor. A good governor.
Yeah.
He's got a sound mind. He seems like he's somebody who takes things into consideration. He's fair with his criticisms, I think, and he welcomes people to disagree with him. So I mean, he's everything you want in somebody in leadership. So
Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely. Layla, you
Okay.
got one more, right?
Yes, I have one more question, but I also have one thing to add to the private school voucher question.
Do it.
let's hear it.
I find it so difficult to talk about people who, or well, talk to people who are like, well, on it because and they use the reason as people who can't afford, who truly can't afford to access private education.
Hmm.
There were nonprofits and churches, which are now both the same thing somehow, and then the schools themselves that offer scholarships.
Uh-huh.
Was it enough? No, that could have been fixed very simply.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Why did we have to just make every single person in Iowa pay for it?
Well, yeah, that's dumb. And we're paying for yeah. It doesn't if that was um the rationale for the program, then there would have been income limits, and there aren't.
Right.
So anybody who
Exactly.
says that is just
Full of
either
it.
lying to themselves or lying to us, maybe both.
Doesn't understand.
So
All of the above.
Yeah. Okay, my last question. If you could pass legislation on a petty grievance, what would it be?
um on a petty grievance, that's something, gosh, that I'm petty about. My daughter just walked in the room, so if you saw me just, get a little, she's eating a cheeseburger right now. Oh, it's pizza. Sorry.
Ooh, pizza's even
Um,
better.
if I could pass legislation on petty grievance, I think it would be on, and this is going to be super petty, so I hope we actually mend this. I'm not going to get judged.
No.
Who let their dogs poop in other yards? I think there's like a city ordinance about that. I think we need some hard legislation. People need to be ticketed. Instead of having those red light cams, we need to have
Like,
dog crap cams mounted on so we can get these people off the streets.
I
Who
love it.
does that? Honestly, who does it? Who watches their animal defecate in someone's yard and is like, and not my problem? That's the weirdest thing to me. So I think we
That
need some
reminds me
legislation.
of a reel I saw the other day where a guy got on the hoverboard because their neighbor kept letting their dog poop in their yard. He
Mhm.
picked it up with the shovel, hoverboarded over to his neighbor's house, and threw it at their car.
Oh, I don't know if I throw it in his car, but I
Oh,
would get it out of my yard.
I mean, that's a good one, honestly. And I love that you knew what we meant because a lot of times people, they're either A, afraid to say a petty grievance, like,
And we'll be like, well, I wouldn't pass legislation on something petty.
I don't want to
No,
make
I'm like,
anybody angry.
get these people off the streets.
Yeah,
They should be doing community service. They should be locked up. No,
right.
these
Layla's is good too.
psychopaths.
Mine was always just that I would make my property taxes cover like my snow removal bill. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
and
And
that'd
then
be
that's
Layla
not
yells at me and
petty.
she says, "That's not petty, that's socialism." And I was like,
yeah.
"Oh."
Oh, well,
Well, either way, I'll
socialism it
take
is, I guess.
it.
Yeah. I think mine is, I forget.
Yours is the transportation one.
Oh, yeah. Making public transportation accessible everywhere. And also
Oh, yeah.
forcing people
Hmm.
to ride in it so I don't have to deal with their bad driving behaviors.
Well, yeah, they say like the difference between, I don't know if it's a meme or something. I know I've seen it somewhere where it's like the difference between a truly, what is it, advanced society or something. I'm butchering it, is that in, a society that's pretending they're advanced, rich people have, these fancy cars or limos or whatever. But in a society that's really advanced, everybody takes public transit because it's that good. It should be that good. And that's one of the things we work on in active transportation because you have to walk to a bus stop. You got to walk to get off of it or the subway or whatever. But it should be that good. You shouldn't have to own a car to get around your city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in like, well, everywhere right now, because even like urban areas of Iowa don't have great public transportation
No,
options.
nowhere it does. Nowhere in Iowa does. No, nowhere in the US really does, but especially not Iowa.
It's such a poverty penalty. Like ha having a
Yeah.
car in Iowa is a poverty penalty.
Yeah, and the worst part about it, I'm sorry, we're gonna get deep into the weeds here. I'm sorry, everybody
That's all
watching.
right.
I'm on the active transportation committee, okay, and I watch not just bikes and City Beautiful. So is that
I'm an expert.
the people, and here's a book you should read, Walkable Cities, all right, and also anything by Strong Towns, which is another YouTube channel. But
Make
the
note.
thing is, the people who don't own cars subsidize the people who do because they have to still pay all the same taxes, which are going to fix those roads, which are, going to all that infrastructure that they don't use and can't use because they don't own a car. So
And another thing,
another thing.
companies like Amazon Prime don't have to pay the taxes at all, and they wear on the
No,
roads
ridiculous.
at such
Yeah.
higher rates than we do. So they're breaking
Hmm.
our infrastructure. They pay nothing to fund the fixing of it or in
Yeah.
general, and we have to
Yep.
pay for it, and it wouldn't be broken as fast if they weren't using it.
Yep. 100%.
Companies,
Yeah.
they're always at the root of the
They
problem.
they love to reap the benefits of socialism and then cry socialism whenever somebody makes them contribute. Right? That's
Right.
that's their sort of MO.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
It's great.
Mom,
I
it's you.
would like, hold on. Now I'm trying to go off on the infrastructure, transportation.
We should
I,
have brought a little soapbox here that we
it's,
could all stand on and
it's
make
true.
our speech and then get off.
What do you call, like, the talking baton or whatever? We should
Uh-huh.
just pass around the talking baton. I want to know what good infrastructure looks like for rural communities, right?
Hmm.
Because we live in a rural space, so like we're in small towns that are, I don't know, 20 miles probably from the nearest Walmart, right?
Hmm.
And so living out in a rural community, you have to have a car, right? So
Hmm.
in many situations, rural communities are a lot cheaper for buying houses and things like that, and cheaper to rent apartments because they're out in the middle of nowhere. Of course, it's cheaper.
Hmm.
But at this point in time, with gas prices skyrocketing and insurance doing whatever the hell they want because they do whatever they want, it makes it almost more, it costs more to go to work than you're
Hmm.
actually making, right?
Yeah.
And I
Uh-huh.
think we actually sat down and figured out, like, my vehicle, just my car cost me over $1,200 a month
Oh gosh. Yeah.
for just to drive it to
Hmm.
work every day.
Yep.
Um, and I want to know what, like, sustainable kind of infrastructure would look like for rural communities in Iowa.
Hmm.
I think
Well,
that
I
that's
think one. I don't know if you're actually asking me this or if that was
Sure.
like a
You're an
rhetorical
expert. Yes.
question.
If you
I'm
have
not
the
an
answer,
expert,
hell yeah.
but you don't have to be an expert to have opinions. If the last
We know
decade has
that.
taught us anything, it's that. Um, but I think two things. Number one, when we let these huge corporations like Walmart, like you mentioned,
Hmm.
come into our state, it decimated small towns because, like you said, I
Yeah.
mean, there was a time where that small town, I don't know the population of your town, but whatever
Right.
it is, I'm sure it could have sustained a couple of stores,
Yeah.
right? Where you would get your groceries, general stores, this, that, whatever, the other thing. Now all of that goes to Walmart,
Yep.
which wouldn't be the worst issue in the world if those profits then stayed in Iowa, because then they would get redistributed in Iowa, but they don't.
Mm-mm.
Walmart pays these employees starvation wages, which we then subsidize because these people then qualify for assistance, which we are paying with our tax dollars.
Yep.
Walmart takes that savings, that profit, and goes and does God knows what with it out of the state of Iowa, and we don't see it, right?
Right.
So that's number one. And number two, I think in a lot of places in the world, even a small town would have transit, would have train, would have fast, reliable, predictable transportation to bigger cities,
Yeah.
on the hour, every couple of hours. So you wouldn't have to have a car, because
Yeah.
again, that's how a walkable city, that's how a proper society functions, right?
Yeah.
You don't make everybody have to own a car. It's so inefficient. It's
It,
inefficient and
I
on,
hate it.
on economies of scale, right? Like it doesn't make any sense, but that's what we're
We're
doing,
letting
probably because
14
the
and
car
15-year
lobby.
old kids drive 1,000-pound death machines.
Hmm.
14, 15-year-old kids drive 1,000-pound death machines to and from school every day because we live so far out, right? Like,
Hmm.
imagine if we just had some sort of public transportation because the buses don't run out this far. We're too far away for the bus.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and they should. If we're not going to have trains, we should at least have
right.
reliable bus services. But we
Yeah.
can't afford that. Why? Because Walmart's taking all of our freaking money out of the state.
Yes. I love this so much. Yeah,
I
we can
mean,
just
it's
take an
like,
entire episode to crash out
yeah.
about Walmart and how terrible they are.
Oh, yeah. It's like all these problems we have are not problems in isolation. They all, connect to one another, obviously.
Hmm.
And so you can't solve any one of them in isolation. And so people get um, upset or frustrated, or they lose interest, or they just don't have the attention span to listen when you're like, well, let me tell you about these 10 other things that are happening downstream, which are the real cause of this problem. They
Yep.
just don't have the attention spans
I
for
mean,
that.
I
But it's
feel like
like,
we've all come to the conclusion that it all connects back to one thing, which is, rich people who don't want to pay taxes.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. If you want to, yeah, go all the way to the end of the
Yeah,
street,
just
that's where
just
we are.
skip just skip the
Yeah.
whole process.
Yep.
Um, okay, we better focus.
We do need to.
Let's see. I lost my spot. There we go. What would you consider a valid experience for someone running for Iowa House or Iowa Senate?
I think you gotta be somebody who is compassionate and actually cares. Things have to make you sad, and angry, but you have to be willing to be a learner in trying to address those things. I think a lot of our politicians are just like, well, I have the answer because this is what my mommy and daddy told me when I was 6. So this is the way the world works. And they haven't updated a single thought in their head since then. And so they are trying to solve problems with a 10-year-old's understanding of the world.
Yeah.
And then it just creates more problems. And so I think you got to be knowledgeable. You got to be willing to learn and have that beginner mindset. But you got to care because otherwise you're not. I think those are the two biggest issues I see with politicians. So I guess I'm framing it from that lens of
Yeah.
what I see people doing wrong instead of like a North Star, it's like a South Star. Here are the things you
Right.
don't want to do. Um, and then to come back to, so you want to care about people and be willing to learn, to sort of be able to admit your own ignorance so that you can actually solve a problem, which
Yeah.
I don't see right now in government.
Not so much. Mm-mm.
I saw Secretary of Ag. He's running for Secretary of Ag, whose name I cannot remember. Chris
Ryan
Jones, is his
Peterman.
name?
No, that's Chris Jones.
Chris
Wait, oh,
Jones,
Secretary
right?
of Ag. Why was I
Yeah.
Secretary of State? Okay, yeah.
I saw him speak a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I cannot tell you how refreshing it was to see somebody who cared but knew his stuff. You know, like this man is smart, like knows it. And when you hear that, and then you hear those solutions, and you hear somebody not just like, giving, talking points or whatever, but who has that depth of knowledge where they can explain systemic issues causing this, and they can see that through line all the way through to the start. It's like, please get this man elected.
Right?
Like these are the people we need to be putting in charge, not
Yeah.
people who just have the right D or R by their name, but who are experts, who know their stuff and who care.
Yeah. Yeah,
Agreed.
I completely agree with that. What were you going to say, Layla?
I think it was a really good answer, and I couldn't stop thinking about someone who had come onto one of these episodes and said, "Well, I have a law degree."
Well, every lawyer can just do it then, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's been a really big misconception for a really long time that in order to be in politics at all, that you have to be a lawyer, specifically, like a lawyer
That's
with a
it. That's
lot
it.
of money, or have the appeal of a used car salesman. That's the way
Hmm.
I was raised, right? Because politicians were
Yep.
slimy and gross
Yeah.
and
They
terrible
just want,
people.
they're just say what you need to say to get elected. Or,
Exactly.
or be so smart like a lawyer that you can make people feel dumb. And so they're like, well, I guess they know better.
Right, right. And I think that that's something that we're working, and we, like as a society, not like we personally, but also we personally,
But also we
but also
personally.
we personally, um, the like the big conversation that's happening right now about, connecting back to regular people being able to run, and just people that want better for their communities, right? You don't have to be a lawyer to
Hmm.
want better for your
No,
community.
yeah.
You don't have to be a slimy car salesman to suck either. I mean, you
Hmm.
can go in what they're good intentions pave the road to hell sometimes. Like, you
Hmm.
know, caring is great. Um, as long as you're willing to learn, how you
Yeah.
can actually put that caring into action to make things better. And you can do all of those things without a law degree.
Hmm.
So,
100%. And
yeah,
a lot of people with law degrees didn't do so fantastic. So,
right.
I would argue, and maybe this is a little bit too like compartmentalizing the scenario, but I think that we need less lawyers in politics. I
yeah, I
don't
think we need more regular people. And honestly, people who
Yes.
struggle, you
I
know?
don't think people who practice the law should make the law.
Mm-hmm.
And
So I am not running for office, so I have the privilege of being able to say wild things without getting into any trouble. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think we need less lawyers, but also less farmers. We need less lawyers and less farmers representing us. Should there be farmers? Absolutely, yes. They need their seat at the table, but right now they own the table in the
Hmm.
legislature. They are
Are there a
over.
lot of farmers in the Iowa legislature? I guess I don't know the
well,
makeup. So,
there's a lot of farmers in the legislature, but there's a
yeah,
huge
farmers.
difference between people who actually farm and people who call themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, in the
Mm.
way like Chuck Grassley's a farmer. Yeah, I'm
Yes, there you
sure.
go. There you go. Yeah, those farmers,
I
they
get you. I got you. Yeah.
they can go back to farming.
Hmm.
Farming. Ugh, anyways, okay. So campaigning is hard. Uh, yeah, it's hard. It can get really exhausting. So what kind of keeps you going when you're like, okay, I hate this. Why am I doing this to myself?
Knocking on doors, which here's the deal. I'm an introvert. Talking to people is not my favorite thing to do. And so when I was like, I'm gonna have to knock on doors, I've knocked on doors for other campaigns, and it is like stressful for me because I'm an introvert. But
Yeah.
when it's your own campaign and you actually get to hear people like talk about what's important to them, and I'm not listening to relay it to somebody else, but I'm listening because I'm like, there is this, I'm not going to get emotional here, but there is kind of like this. Sometimes I'll think about what if I win this race? And then there's like tens of thousands of people like relying on me to like make good decisions. And it's like, that is humbling, but it's also a little bit scary, but it is something that keeps me going because it's like this is like my home. This is like we need somebody who is one of us to represent us. And it's hard to do that. And so I understand why a lot of people don't want to do it. And so that makes me want to do it more because I'm like, we just really need it.
Yeah, that's great. I think knocking doors is probably the most common answer to that question. And
Oh yeah. Well, I should have picked a better answer.
no, no, in
Well,
the
you
best
can't.
way though, in the best way, because I think that's what it should be, right? It should be the people's stories that you talk to and how that affects you. Because if you're, first of all, if you're not knocking doors, you're not doing your job. Period.
Hmm.
End of story. I am not the Democratic Party. I'm not telling everybody they need to knock 10,000 doors. What I am saying is that's where you have to go
That's
where the
exactly
people
what they
are,
say.
right? You have to go where the people are, right? Like, how do you know
Hmm.
what people need and what they want if you're not
Yeah.
talking to them?
Hmm.
Um, but I also think like it has a really, really, really good way of letting you know like exactly why you're doing what you're doing. And I
Hmm.
think that's really important. So that's a great answer. Even though we get that answer a lot, it's a
Even it
great
is the most cliche answer. Still, it's cliche for a reason.
answer. Sometimes that's okay. Okay, so these are the two questions that I think are actually the hardest questions that people are like, ooh,
Oh,
about.
okay.
What is your hottest take?
Like most controversial take.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a hot take, right?
Yep.
Okay. Um, hmm. You know, here's something I say that sometimes gets me in trouble. I don't think it gets me in trouble, but here's a hot take. I think that some of the frustration that MAGA has or had or pretended to have is valid, and that people do want to make America great again. I think that is valid. And I think a lot of people feel that if they're honest with themselves, left, right, and center, far left, far right, everywhere on the spectrum, we're like, what the happened to this place?
Yeah.
I think that is 100% legit. I think their understanding of what happened is off the wall crazy. But I think that they are right in diagnosing that there is a problem. Their diagnosis of what caused the problem is way off the mark. I
Yeah.
think um, the things that have always made us great have been the times we have been the greatest, the things we look at in American history that we are the most proudest of, the people who we, sort of canonize and become our heroes, progressive times, progressive people.
Yeah.
And conservatives just don't realize it until it's already passed them by.
Yeah.
All of our founding fathers, raging progressives. Abraham Lincoln, progressive as you could be at the time anyway.
Yeah.
The things we are most proud of in this country that we look at and we're like, that's what it means to be American. We did that. We made that. We went there. Progressive times, progressive initiatives, you know?
Yeah.
And every step of the way, conservatives drug their heels and cried and beat their chests and said, no, 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 we should do what the king says. No, 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 we shouldn't upset the slave owners. No, 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 the New Deal will be terrible. And
Hmm.
we did it anyway because progressives never stopped fighting and we were right. And we'll be
Yeah.
right again.
Yep.
I'll go even deeper on that. I
I
think,
knew this was coming.
well, for one, I catch some shiz for being young and running for the office. I'm 22. The founding fathers were my age.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. And
True.
they had less
That's
access
all I'm
to
gonna
education
say.
than I do. So I agree with that. I also agree
I agree even harder.
even harder with the Trumpers' frustrations. They'll share
Hmm.
things on Facebook and like they have a point where their post will be like, I don't understand why chemo is so expensive for cancer patients,
Yep.
but medication to help people through addiction is free. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
okay,
It's
if
the
we take that,
insulin versus the like the insulin post is what you're talking about, right? Where
yeah.
if what's the stuff you do for drug overdoses? I can't think of the word
Oh,
though.
Yeah,
Narcan.
whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
Why is
It's free to get it
Narcan
for
free,
free.
but I can't get insulin?
where
Yeah.
it's like, yes, let's take the
Yeah.
discrimination out of that
Mm-hmm.
and put the frustration where it really belongs. Because, like,
Yeah, it's
your
like they think
frustration
they're
is right. Like, your anger level is completely
yeah,
valid. Me too. We have
100%
the
valid.
same
We're all
problem.
angry at that. Yeah.
Let's just direct the anger where it belongs.
Right.
And I think,
But
yeah,
and
that's
it's like,
100% accurate.
it's like, well, would raising the price of, the drug addiction drug
Right.
fix the problem? It would not, right? What
Right.
you really want is for everyone to have socialized medicine. But you can't say
Ta-da!
that because
Not the
you
socialism.
can't, it's because you can't let your mind go. You can't let your mind go there. That's the
Yeah.
disconnect there.
It's hard because I think you're spot on with that with everything you said. And I think like if you really start to look at it, everyone on both sides, equally feel like, hey, things are not going well, right? It's
hmm
hard because if we could somehow force all of them to remember that things also go the best when you're in community, right? The
Yes,
party of
100%.
me
Yeah.
never wins. The
hmm
party of me alone never wins. It's always
Never.
the party of us,
No,
right?
it never makes your life better when you are hurting the people around you. Because
Right.
then the people around you get desperate. And when you're surrounded by desperate people, your life is not going to go
No,
fantastic,
it's not going to be
And
fun.
so we keep getting into this trap where people are like, for me to be prosperous,
Mhm.
other people, like it's this, zero sum game.
Yeah.
Other people have to suffer so I
Yeah.
can get mine.
Yep.
Not realizing, well, when you do that, now your crime rates are going to go up. Now your
Yeah.
addiction rates are going to go up, which means your healthcare premiums are going to go up. And when your crime rates go up, and you're now nobody can go to that city park and it has to close, and now your property value is going to go down. I mean, again, it's following all these things downstream and realizing that when others are taken care of, society is better. I mean, that's what a
Yeah.
society is. It's social. So
Exactly. Yes,
I
all
don't
of
need to
those
tell you
things.
guys that, obviously.
No, we like it. It's so funny because whenever like we have meetings and we go to in-person stuff, and a lot of times we're like, it's just preaching to the choir. Like we all already know
hmm
these things. But I think what's really cool about doing these is that when it's a smaller, there's only three of us on the call, so we can have a conversation about it. It's hard to have conversations like this in big group settings, right? Because
hmm
there's a lot of people and a lot of talking. Um, and I think it's really cool because we get a lot of different perspectives from different people who are all running essentially for the same exact
hmm
position. And it's great. I love it. I think it's amazing. And
And it's fun to commiserate with other people who are also
yes,
going
and
through
it's
these
fun
dark
to
times
understand.
with you.
No, seriously. Okay, so the next question is what is your wokest take?
Oh, my wokest take.
Yeah.
What is my wokest take? Um, I think we should have um Medicare for all, single payer system. I think it's so ridiculous that I don't know. Is that considered woke? Would that be considered woke?
So
I don't know.
this
I
is
would
always the
argue, I would argue
I'm like,
that
I don't know how we're defining woke. I don't know that anybody who even uses woke unironically knows what woke is.
not
So I
really.
certainly don't know what it
I think
means.
I think that it would socially be considered woke. However, a single payer healthcare system would save our country over $500 billion per
Yeah.
year, is the conservative option.
It really is. The people have run the numbers. I don't understand why this is even like controversial in the least. I mean, I do understand why it is because of lobbies, but
Yeah.
I don't understand why people don't realize people are like, oh, my taxes are going to go up and your healthcare premiums will go down by, for some people, tens of thousands of dollars a year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't, whatever.
So that's the
But
thing
that
with
would be a
woke.
woke take of mine.
Yeah.
So like I said, we've got four kids. My wife and I are both teachers, so we're not, living large by any means. Our kids qualify for Hawkeye,
Hmm.
and there was a brief time where we made just over the amount. We're talking like a couple of $100 over what the cutoff was,
Yeah.
and so we were going to get kicked off,
Hmm.
and it was going to cost us, yeah, I don't know, $1,500 extra a month, which no working class family can absorb those costs. That's like $20,000 a year or whatever it was going to be. And the idea, and again, we're not super well off, but we're not like below the poverty line. And
Right.
so it's those people, those working class Iowans who are like right there, who are who oftentimes will be against these programs that would help them immensely because we've sort of lived that out and then having to like, oh, well, how much do we need to contribute to an HSA fund so that we can fall back below the line or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's just that should never happen, especially because we're talking about kids here. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
all kids in Iowa should be on Hawkeye, as far as I'm concerned, regardless of how much your parents make.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I would push it even farther and say that every single kid under the age of 18 should be on Medicaid, period.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
No
hmm
copay.
yeah, no copays, no prescription, none of it. Nothing.
hmm
Absolutely
And
nothing.
the pro-life people, you think, and the sanctity of life people would really get behind that
Weird, right? That's
because these kids
crazy.
are alive. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
Feeding
would
them would also be really important. I mean, don't ask Kim Reynolds because she's not going to do it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Not at all kidding. I don't know why I
no,
said I'm
no, I'm
kidding.
kidding.
That's completely true. When we started doing this, we always joked and told everybody that we were a Kim Reynolds hate group. Um, and it kind of was. It kind of is. It
It
kind of always
kind
will
of,
be.
kind of a joke that wasn't a joke.
It was kind of a joke that it was just like, haha, this is funny, but it's actually very real. Because she is just atrocious and she's been terrible for our state since the day she took over. Gross
One
state.
thing I do like about Kim Reynolds is that she trusts Iowans to make their own informed decisions. So there's that, which she told us several times during COVID.
The best part
Right up
about Kim
until she
Reynolds,
didn't. Right up until she didn't. Right up until Iowans' decisions were something she didn't agree with. And then
right?
she said, F those guys, I'm making the decisions.
Literally. My favorite part about Kim Reynolds is that she is leaving this year.
Yeah.
We have a countdown on our website, a literal countdown with
You
her.
might need to hang some paper chains up in your house for
Yes, just like
days.
one every day, something to look forward to. Ugh. Okay, so we talked earlier about how kind of campaigning is hard and what keeps you going. What's something you've learned about yourself since you launched your campaign?
Um, I do actually like talking to people. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm pretty introverted. And so like having to talk to people, it's not that I don't like talking to people, it's that it's a very and it's not like I'm like, oh, can I get out of this conversation? It's that it's like intimidating and I overthink everything. But when
Yeah.
it's something that I actually care about, like right now, then I love talking to people.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening as I door knock. And so that's something that I found out about myself. And like at events and rallies and stuff, it's like I get to talk to people who are passionate about the same things I am. And that is very, oh, one of my kids just walked in here too. This is one of our 2-year-olds. So that's something I found out about myself.
Did you say one
Once,
of
yeah.
our 2-year-olds?
Yeah, we've got 2-year-old twin boys.
Hi.
So
Oh my
here's one of
goodness.
them. This is Dash.
Hello.
Hi,
Can you
Dash.
say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh, you're adorable. That's so
So
cute.
that would be one thing.
Yeah, I think I mean, yeah. I think that we've done a really, really terrible job as a society, and it's not necessarily our fault, especially since COVID. COVID ruined a lot of things. I look at it like it kind of ruined a lot of things. And I think it
hmm
forced people to stay inside their houses and not communicate with each other. And the only way we communicated back and forth was online, which was a terrible
hmm
idea. And people got really bold behind a keyboard, so it was really hard for everyone to kind of get back to talking face to face and having
Uh-huh.
real conversations and knowing how to talk to each other without throwing out insults and being
Yeah. Or
horrible.
being awkward.
Yeah, yeah, no, seriously. And I have fairly fairly bad social anxiety. And since doing this, like I public speaking has never been my thing. Not a big fan of being in front of people and having a lot of attention
hmm
on myself. And I've put myself in this position where I no longer have much of a choice. So
hmm
and now we go to things and I can do it and I still feel a little like, ugh, but
hmm
But then I do it and I'm like, that was not so bad. Standing in front of those
No.
4,000 people was totally fine. Like it was really fun
Hmm.
actually. And I think that's a really cool thing to kind of move past.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so it's good. And talking to people is scary and anxiety is a real thing. But we're all gonna get over it eventually. Okay, so we do rapid fire. It's not rapid fire at all. It's two questions. You yes or no answers. If you want to dive in, you can, but you do not have to.
Okay.
First question is, are you pro-choice?
Yes.
And then the second,
100%. Yeah.
fabulous. Second one is, where do you stand on LGBTQ plus rights, specifically trans rights?
I think I know it's a cliche thing, but like you said before,
Hmm.
um, trans rights are human rights.
Yeah.
So if it's cliche for a reason. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, this is another thing I just don't get. I don't get why you would care what other people are doing. It just
I
doesn't make sense
literally,
to
how
me.
does it affect you?
I
Like,
know it. I know it.
how does it
It's like
affect your
people,
everyday
when
life?
people go after people for things like that, I just think it must be so nice to have so much time, to have
Yes.
so few problems that you can invent other problems for yourself. I
Yeah.
just think of, like, let's say the Iowa legislature, or the US, Congress, or maybe there's a world order legislature that passes all the
Right.
anti-trans laws that were on your, in your diary of Dear Diary, I wish these would all get passed. And they all got passed. Nobody's life would improve
Mm-mm.
at all.
Nope.
You would wake up tomorrow and you would get in the same shitty car. You would have the same job. Your
Yep.
taxes would still be going. You
Yep.
still couldn't afford that at the store. I mean, your life would not be noticeably different
Mm-mm.
at all,
Yeah.
at all. But there would be a lot people's lives that were
Far worse.
obliterated.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why? Why?
Yeah.
What sort of sick pleasure do you get out? Okay, sorry. That's
No, you're absolutely right. I think that there are some people, and I'm not even going to say it's all of MAGA, right? But there are
no.
some people within MAGA that the pain is the point, right? That like
Hmm.
that's the purpose is to inflict pain on people that they view as being less than them in some way. And it's like this weird inferiority thing where they're just obsessed
Hmm.
with being the
Yeah.
better than someone else. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't this is well, I understand why this is an issue because they needed a wedge issue, and
Mhm.
somebody somewhere clearly did some research at one point and found this was going to be the issue. And
Mhm.
so it has consumed us for the last 10 years. Um, but it's an invented issue
It
in
is.
my book.
I
And
would
so,
love if somebody went around Iowa and asked every single Republican and Republican representative who were in favor of taking rolling back civil rights for trans people and asked them specifically, how did that improve your life? Like,
yeah.
what
Hmm.
got better for you after the fact? Because if the answer is nothing, you messed up,
Yeah, you did.
you
We spent
know?
all this money, we spent all this time
Yep.
ruining people's lives
Yeah,
with the promise that it was somehow going to make our lives better. And it
exactly.
didn't. And it didn't. We
Yep.
hurt people for no good reason other than that. Well, there's no good reason. So
Not
we
at
just hurt
all.
them for
For
no good reason.
funsies, I guess. Okay, so we have two
Hey,
questions
one
left.
more thing.
Okay.
I think it's, I think genuinely a lot of like specifically the Republicans that voted yes on repealing them last year.
Hmm.
I would bet money on the fact that they have never met a transgender person ever.
No, certainly they've never
Ever.
had like a negative encounter that they're like, we need to pass this so that I can
Yes.
never have that happen again. Like that's never happened, you know?
Literally.
Yep.
So I'm like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
how is it playing such like a big role in your head?
I mean, it would be like if I was suddenly like, you know what? People who get their hair colored are a real issue for us. And I created this whole campaign around it, and people were on both sides and they were real fired up about it. And
Right.
then, eventually I got it. It took us 10 years, but we got it so that nobody can do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Whose life would be better? Like, I mean, it
Right.
just would just, it does not,
It's so
I
stupid.
just,
It's so
uh,
stupid. Okay, so last two questions. Now we're gonna rush because we got to get you off of here.
I
So
know.
we got
Sorry.
to get
I've
you
been
back.
talkative.
No,
I'm a
you
teacher,
are
so all I
fine.
do is talk all day. And so
Same.
I don't realize when I'm talking too much.
We should have known. Like, listen, I said I am a talker. I am a chatty Cathy. Okay, why should your constituents vote for you?
Um, I care about this place. I want us to be better. I want to actually make this place great again. I want things to be cheaper for us. I want us to have a better quality of life. I understand this place. I was born 2 blocks away from here at the hospital. My bones are literally made from the soil of this district. And I care about it a lot. And I want to see it flourish and thrive. And if it's not me, I want it to be somebody who can make sure that Des Moines is listening to us and creating policy and legislation that actually gives us a chance to thrive and be the Iowa we can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, last thing, share your socials, your website, all of the things. And then what is your big ask for anybody that's watching in your area across the state of Iowa? What do you need from them? And
Um,
don't be
I'm
shy.
at I'm at ShawnForProgress.com. That's SHAWN spelled the right way. Sean for
Fair.
Progress, FOR
Big Musie's
dot
gonna get
com.
on the phone. We're gonna get an angry email after this.
I know it. Um, and my socials, I think all my socials use Sean for Progress. So I'm on Threads, whatever the Threads thing is, slash Sean for Progress. I'm on Instagram at the same. Facebook is also the same. Um, I think those are all the so. I think I'm on TikTok. I don't. I'm not physically on there a lot, so if I'm on there, it's gonna also be Sean for Progress. Though maybe don't follow me there because I'm clearly not on the up and up there. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at.
Perfect. What's your big ask? What do you need?
Um, obviously especially these small campaigns run on donations. So donations, but if not donations, just follow me and repost stuff and share stuff and make sure that wherever you are in Iowa or across the US, because obviously this has an international audience, correct?
Clearly,
You're
yeah,
out, you're
yeah. We're
getting involved
worldwide.
in making sure that progressive candidates are getting elected. They're getting the help and the support that they need. There are so many ways to support. So I don't know how many people from my district would watch this, but across Iowa, you can door knock for your candidates. You can phone bank for your candidates. You can help them write letters. You can help them put out yard signs. There's so much to do. And speaking as a candidate, a lot of times it gets overwhelming. And so letting them know, hey, I'm here to help, or giving them a time where you could be like, this Saturday, what do you need me to do? Because it's hard, to ask people for help sometimes. So to tell them, it's like after somebody loses somebody, you don't say, what do you need? You just say, I'm bringing you a meal on this day. And that's kind of what your candidates need is you just say, here's what I'm doing. Um, Tell me where I need to be when you need me there. You know?
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. That's also a really good suggestion in saying, be specific because I think it's really hard just to ask for specific things, right? Like I'm
Especially in
uncomfortable.
Iowa. We're Iowans. We don't do
We don't
that.
do that. We've been trained not to do that, right? Like most of us have been raised not to ask for help and to just tough it, pull yourself up
hmm
by the bootstraps or whatever. I hate that saying so much. But yeah, so Shawn Olorundami, did I say it right again?
Yes. Yeah, that was perfect.
Hallelujah. I was so scared.
You
Um,
say it better than people who have known me for years. So,
Yay. Donate money. He's being nice. Donate the money. He needs the money. Every candidate needs
he
the
needs
money.
the money. Please
Them
get this guy
Republicans
off the
have so
streets.
much
He needs
money.
the
We
money.
need to we need to chip in. And yeah, for sure volunteer, keep track, watch this race. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited to
I'm
watch
excited too.
how it goes. Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this one. So thank you so much for coming on.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for
No, this
thinking
was
of
a
me.
blast.
I'm
I
like,
had so
gosh, I
much
don't know what I did to get on here, but I'll keep doing it.
awesome. Keep in touch. Let us know how it's going. All of the things. We're excited.
Mhm.
Yes,
All
and
All
good
right.
luck.
right. Thank you so much.
Yes, and good luck for sure. Enjoy the rest of your night with your adorable children.
I will. I will. I don't know. They're only adorable when people are watching. So we'll see what happens
Yeah, I
once
feel
this
that.
gets shut off.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Maybe some
Thanks.
sort of sign.
Bye.